Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hare Guruvayurappa Sharanam. Now Dasagam 97 of Narayaneeyam is Uttamabakhti Prarthana, that is prayer for supreme devotion. Here the poet Sri Bhattacharya explains devotion with the model devotion of sage Markandeya. To brief the story of Markandeya, Mriganda Maharshi's son Markandeya entered the world as Naishtiga Brahmachari, that is, bachelor sannyasi throughout life. Calm, self controlled, he glowing like the sun. This sannyasi crossed many yugas. The twin avatars of Sri Hari, known as Narayaneyam, undergoing penance for the benefit of the world, were aware of Markandeya's extraordinary tapas, and they now decided to give him darshan and appeared before him. Markandeya, overcome with emotion, stood up and fell prostrate. Narayaneyam insisted, "We are givers of boons and we have come to bless you. Hence, ask a boon." Markandeya said, "Hare, Lords, if ask I must, I submit. I wish to see Mahamaya. This is the boon I seek." The gods smiled and said, "Let it be so," and vanished. Markandeya returned to his ashram by the Pushpabhadra river and was engaged in his usual evening prayers when suddenly the sky darkened, a strong wind blew and clouds gathered overhead. Soon it became dark and began to rain. The wind began to roar and lightning flashed in every direction. The streams swelled and flooded the countryside. There was water all around. Markandeya, buffeted by wind and waves, found himself struggling for life. This went on and on for a long period. And now, to his immense relief, he saw land. It was a small island, and on a broad leaf he saw a baby. It was no ordinary baby. It was smiling like a god. It was God Sri Hari himself, with two chubby hands. It was holding its food. It was holding its foot and sucking its toes. Sri Krishna Karnavridam explains this form of Bhagavan. Kararavindena padaravindam mukharavinde viniveshayandam vadasya patrasya pudeshayanam balam mugundam manasasmarami. Thus Markandeya fell prostrate in adoration and made an attempt to touch his feet. Markandeya was sucked in by the baby's ingoing breath. There inside he saw earth, heaven, stars, devas and demons. He saw his own ashram and familiar forest and rivers. Again he experienced time as if he was again crossing the yugas, and then as suddenly saw his own ashram and the Pushpabhadra river quietly flowing by. With a mind overflowing with gratitude, Markandeya said with great humility, "I do not know how to thank, O Hare. You granted me this vision of Maya, whose power even sages find so hard to overcome." Now Lord Shiva and Parvati, wanting to bless Sri Markandeya, appeared before the Muni. But Markandeya, with mind fixed on Brahman, was not aware of their presence. Knowing this, Lord Shiva, by his yogic power, entered Markandeya's mind. Markandeya suddenly saw Lord Shiva with 10 arms and matted hair, the color of lightning. Waking up as from a dream, Markandeya prostrated. Sri Rudra said, ask me any boon. Markandeya says, having seen you, I require no other boon. May I have devotion always in Sri Hari and likewise in all those who love him, and above all in you too, Lord. Thus addressed, Lord Shiva said, you will have eternal devotion in Sri Hari and all you desire, and eternal fame and youth without aging or weakening, and the status of great Acharya of all Vedas and Puranas. After blessing Markandeya Maharshi and granting him this incomparable boon, Lord Shiva and Parvati vanished, and Markandeya Maharshi, free from death and disease, is now immersed in Tapasamadhi for the welfare of the world somewhere in the Himalayan slopes. Here, now we will see the Narayaneeya slokas of Dasamam 97. त्रैगुण्याल् भिन्नरूपं भवति हि भुवने हीनमद्योतमं यद् ज्ञानं श्रद्धा च कर्ता वसुधरपि सुखं कर्म चाहारभेदाः तत्क्षेत्रत्वं निषेवादितु यदिह पुनः त्वत्परं तत्तु सर्वं प्राहुर्नैर्गुण्यानिष्टं तदनुभजनदो मंक्षु सिद्धो भवेयम्. Knowledge, faith, the doer, the place of residence, happiness, action, various foods, etc., being all constituted of the three gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas, are different kinds and of different gradations, such as low, middle or high. But thy temples, thy worships and everything connected with thee in this world is beyond the three gunas, and they do not therefore fall into different gradations. By resorting to all things connected with thee, I shall soon attain perfection. The three gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas mentioned above, are detailed in Bhagavad Gita chapter 14, which is Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. त्वय्येवन्यस्तचित्तघा सुगमयि विचरन् सर्वचेष्टास्त्वदर्थं त्वल्भक्तैः सेव्यमानानभिचरितचरान् आश्रयन् पुण्यदेशान् दस्यो विप्रे मृगादीष्वपि च समममदिः मुच्यमानावमान स्पर्धासूयादिदोषः सततमखिलभूतेषु सम्पूजये त्वाम्. O Hare, living happily with the mind fixed on thee alone and doing all actions for thy sake alone, going to those places of pilgrimage which are at present resorted to by thy devotees, and those which were resorted to by them in the past, looking upon a robber, a brahmana, animals and all other beings equally, free from ideas of honor, dishonor, etc., and from defects such as enmity, jealousy, etc., I shall always worship thee alone in all beings. त्वद्भावो यावदेषु स्फुरति न विशदं तावदेवं ह्युवास्ति कुर्वन्नैकात्म्यबोधे झटिति विकसति त्वन्मयोऽहं चरेयम्. त्वद्धर्मस्यास्य तावद् किमपि न भगवन् प्रस्तुतस्य प्रणाशः तस्मात् सर्वात्मनैव प्रदिश मम विभो भक्तिमार्गं मनोज्ञम्. I shall perform worship and meditation in the manner stated above, as long as the habit of seeing thee in every being does not become clearly ingrained in me, when the knowledge that there is the same Atma in every dawns on me suddenly, I shall then live in total identification with Thee. O Hare, once the practice of the Bhagavata Dharma is begun, it can never be totally lost. Therefore, O Guru Ayyappa, set me on the captivating path of devotion fully. तं चैनं भक्तियोगं दृढयितुमयि मे साध्यमारोग्यमायुः दिष्ट्या तत्राभिसेव्यं तव चरणमहो भेषजायेव दुग्धं मार्कण्डेयो हि पूर्वं गणगनिगदितद्वादशाब्दायुरुच्चैः सेवित्वा वत्सरं त्वां तव भडनिवहैः द्रावयामास मृत्युम्. O Lord, in order that my devotion may become firm, I need good health and long life. For these also, fortunately, the means is only worship of thy feet. It is like being asked to drink milk as the medicine for a disease. That is, in Malayalam it is said, yogi ആശിച്ചതും പാല്, വൈദ്യൻ കൽപ്പിച്ചതും പാല്. That is, since worship also is very pleasant. Long ago, Markandeya, whose life was predicted by astrologers to be only 12 years, was able to drive away death with the help of thy messengers by worshipping thee intensely for 1 year. Markandeyaschirayuh sakalu punaravi tvatpara pushpabhadra tire ninye tapasyan nadula sugaradihi shattu manvandarani devendra saptamastam surayuvadi marun manmadhair mohayishyan योगोष्म प्लुष्यमाणैः नदु पुनरशगत् त्वज्जनं निर्जयेत् का. Markandeya, who was thus endowed with long life and was ever devoted to the incomparable joy of thy worship, fixed his mind on thee and did penance on the banks of the Pushpabhadra river for 6 manvantaras. During the 7th manvantara, Indra tried to seduce him with the help of celestial damsels, the gentle mountain breeze and the god of love, but they could not succeed as they were scorched by the heat of his yoga. Who can ever overcome thy devotees? प्रीत्या नारायणाख्यः त्वमदनरसकः प्राप्तवानस्य पार्श्वं तुष्ट्या तोष्टूयमानः सदु विविधवरैः लोभितो नानुमेने द्रष्टुं मायां त्वदीयां किल पुनरवृणोल् भक्तितृप्तान्तरात्मा माया दुःखानभिज्ञः तदपि मृगयदे नूनमाश्चर्यखेदोः. Then, though us Narayana with companion Nara, being pleased, appeared before Markandeya, he, in great joy, sang thy praises but did not desire any of the various boons offered to him, as his mind was fully content with devotion to thee. He only wanted to see thy Maya. Having never experienced the sorrows caused by Maya, he perhaps wanted to see it for the wonder of it. Yade toyashu vadakula जलदगलत्तोय पूर्णाधिगूर्णदे सप्तार्णो राशिमग्ने जगति स तु जले सम्भ्रमन् वर्षकोडी दीनप्रैशिष्टदूरे वडदलशयनं कञ्चिदाश्चर्यबालं त्वामेव श्यामलाङ्गं वदनसरसिज न्यस्तपादाङ्गुलीयम्. When you had left and when the world was soon submerged in the 7 oceans, which were overflowing with the rainwaters falling from the clouds, which were tossed about by the wind, Markandeya moved about here and there in the waters for millions of years. When he was exhausted, he saw far away thee in the form an indescribably wonderful child of blue complexion lying on a banyan leaf with thy toe placed in thy lotus mouth. दृष्ट्वा त्वां हृष्टरोमा त्वरितमुपगत स्पृष्टुकामो मुनीन्द्रः श्वासेनान्तर्निविष्टः पुनरिह सकलं दृष्टवान् विष्टपौखम् भूयो विश्वासवादैः बहिरनुपतितो वीक्षितत्वत्कटाक्षैः मोदादाश्लेष्टुकामः त्वयि विहिततनो स्वाश्रमे प्राग्वदासीत्. On seeing thee, Markandeya, with horripilation all over his body, rushed towards thee, desiring to touch thee, and was drawn into thy body by thy breath. There he saw all the worlds. Then, on being pushed out by thy breath alone, when thy sidelong glances fell on him, he in great joy desired to embrace thee. Then, suddenly, you disappeared, and he found himself sitting in his ashram as before. गौर्या सार्धं तदग्रे पुरपि तदगतत्वत्प्रियप्रेक्षणार्थी सिद्धानेवास्य दत्त्वा स्वयमयमजरा मृत्युदादीन् गदोऽभूत्. एवं त्वल्सैव एव स्मररिपुरपि स प्रीयते येन तस्मात् मूर्तित्रयात्मकस्त्वं ननु सकलनियन्तेति सुव्यक्तमासीत्. Then Lord Shiva, desiring to see thy dear devotee, appeared before Markandeya along with Goddess Parvati and gave him, without being asked, the boons of freedom from old age, freedom from death, which Markandeya had already won by his penance. In this manner, even Lord Shiva is pleased by the worship of thy alone. From this, it is very clear that thou art thyself Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva and the inner controller of all. त्रंशेऽस्मिन् सत्यलोके विधिहरिपुरबिल् मन्दिराणूर्धमूर्धं तेऽप्योऽप्यूर्थतं तु माया विकृतिविरहितो भाति वैकुण्ठलोकः. तत्र त्वं कारणं वस्यपि पशुपकुले शुद्धसत्त्वैकरूपी सच्चित् ब्रह्माद्वयात्मा पवनपुरपदे पाहि मां सर्वरोगात्. In that Satyaloka, with 3 parts, the abodes of Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva are one above the other. Vaikuntha, which is totally free from the effects of Maya, shines above all these 3. You shine in that Vaikuntha and also in the casual waters and Gokula as pure Sattva and as the non-dual Brahman who is existence consciousness. Oh Hare Guruvayurappa, save me from all ailments. With this sloga, we have completed Dasakam 97 of Narayaneeyam, and now we will listen to Sati Suresh Bhajan song.
நிலை பெயராது சிலை போலவே நின்று நேரமாவதறியாமலே மிக வினோதமான முரளிதரா என் மனமல்லை பாயுதே பொன்னானந்த மோகன வேணுகானமதில் அல்லை பாயுதே கண்ணா தெளிந்த நிலவு பட்டப்பகல் போல் எரியுதே திக்க நோக்கி என்னிரு புருவம் நெறியுதே கனிந்த உன் வேணுகானம் காற்றில் வருகதே கண்கள் சொருகி ஒரு விதமாய் வருகுதே என் மனமல்லை பாயுதே உன்னானந்த மோகன வேணுகானமதில் அல்லை பாயுதே கண்ணா